The question I've been asking all week, and the question I think a lot of us have been asking since Saturday, is how would the Springboks respond? How would they respond to that defeat to Australia? Incredible game. What an unbelievable test match, by the way, but one that, certainly watching it on TV, you got the impression left the Springbok supporters in attendance, maybe the Springboks themselves, pretty stunned. So what was going to be the response from Rassie Erasmus and from the defending world champions? Well, we've got our answer. Rassie Erasmus named his team to take on Australia in Cape Town yesterday, so that's what I'll have a chat about in this video. I'll chat about the big talking points as I see it from this team selection, in particular maybe the age profile of this team and what sort of game plan we might be seeing the Springboks resorting to get back to winning ways. But you can have your say in the comments section. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Alfie. Appreciate you clicking on the video. And whilst you're here, if you enjoy the video, enjoy the discussion, then I'd love it if you like the video and also subscribe to the channel. That way you're not going to miss a thing from the Rugby Championship. So, what was the response going to be? 10 changes from Rassie Erasmus. I feel like any other coach, 10 changes off the back of a defeat like that would be like, whoa, huge team news. But we see the Springboks rotate all the time in this sort of way. So I don't know how much of a response this has been to the defeat, but 10 changes. And Che, Marks, Van Staden, Williams and Creel, the players that remain in the team. And you've got Mostert, Kanan Moody, Vilko Low, Bowen Venter, Eben Etzebeth, Lou Diaga, Quagga Smith and Cobus Reinach, who are all still involved in some degree. Either they were on the bench last week and are starting or vice versa. So there is still a chunk of that team that remain, but 10 changes is probably going to be the headline here. And when I look at it, I mean, it's a different looking team, isn't it, in a sense, when I look at this South African team. Just in terms of Eben Etzebeth being on the bench, no Sia Khaleesi is named either, no Peter Steph Toy. There are a few kind of pillars of the Springbok team that we're accustomed to seeing so often that aren't going to be taking part. Khaleesi picked up an injury. Etzebeth in particular on the bench. I feel like if Etzebeth plays, he starts. I'm sure he has come off the bench before for the Springboks, but I'm just so used to seeing him start. I feel it's weird seeing him amongst the replacements. But even though there are a lot of names there that I think makes this quite a familiar team, there's not as many kind of young guns that have been thrown in with an opportunity to prove themselves, which is in itself a point I'll come on to in a minute. The names are quite familiar. It still feels slightly different in some way to this. Maybe it is just the Khaleesi, the Steph Toy, the Etzebeth, the kind of players that aren't there. But yeah, let me know what you make of it. I thought it was slightly a different looking team, but what it does have loads of is experience. So in terms of the age profile of this team, Che 30, Marks 31, De Toy 30, Snyman 30, Van Staden 30, Mostert 35, Jean-Luc du Preez 30, Pollard 31, Kolbe 32, Dialende 34, Creel 31, Willie Leroux 36. Is that the biggest thing here that Rassie Erasmus has fallen back on, which is experience? Even though Eben Etzebeth isn't starting, even though Sia Khaleesi and Peter Steph Toy aren't there and players that are vastly experienced, in terms of the age profile of the team, in terms of the amount of caps in this team, it is still an incredibly experienced side. And does that surprise you? Did you expect Rassie to maybe go to a few younger players, perhaps a bit more hungry, a bit more to prove off the back of that result to give him some sort of performance? Or is this a team that he knows exactly what he is going to get from, players that have been there and done it, that he wants to go out there and get them back to winning ways? Because that is the most important thing here. They cannot lose again in terms of the defence of their title. They would be so much on the back foot if that was the case. They have to go out and get a result. And so, is this back to what he knows? Back to players that have been there and done it before. I also think in terms of the game plan, if we look at this side, what are they trying to do? If you'd have seen the quotes, or if you've watched any of the press conference, you'd have seen them speak about this. We know, saying things like, we know what went wrong, we know what we have to fix up. What are going to be the areas for this team? What are going to be the real points of focus that this selection also speaks to? And I think there's a couple of different things. And I think it's ultimately a team that have been selected to manage the game better. If you look at Andre Pollard as your 10, Damien Dialende, Mr. Ever-Reliable, world-class operator back at 12. As much as I love Andre Esterhazen, who scored tries last weekend, you're back to Dialende. You've got, kind of 5 second row options across the team. I just wonder whether it is back to managing a game better and, again, back to what you know, which is set piece, collisions and breakdown. Line out in particular was a problem last weekend, so sorting out your set piece. Scrum wasn't too bad. They definitely had the Wallabies on the ropes at times there. But line out in particular, get your set piece right. Win more of the collisions, because they stopped doing that in the second half. They were unbelievable in the first 20 minutes, the Springboks last week. They won pretty much every collision. It looked like the Wallabies couldn't live with them, and then that stopped. So it's a team to win collisions, and also then at the breakdown. Australia have plenty of savvy operators in that area. If you give them an opportunity, they will go for you there. So the size in this team, the quality in this team, the experience in this team, I think is across all of those things I've just mentioned to get on the front foot, to get the better of those areas. Set piece, collisions, breakdown. If that all happens, then this is going to be a side that are able to manage the game better, which is what they didn't do. They completely lost control of the game last Saturday against Australia. So I think a lot of it is about control. And yeah, going back to maybe a little bit more of that Springbok DNA, I suppose. And I guess amongst all of the reaction to last Saturday, and it was always going to be a big reaction, it was an incredible test match. I'm sure even Springbok fans, even though your hearts would have been aching a little bit off the back of that, I'm sure still appreciated the comeback from Australia and what an unbelievable game that it was. But yeah, I completely lost my train of thought there. But I think it was more to do with the fact of it was an incredible game, but it's only one game. And it's about getting back to winning ways here for the Springboks. What players are there opportunities for in this team? This is the final thing to consider. I've got a couple to mention. Number 8, Jean-Luc Dupree, who I think has been excellent for Sale for a number of years now in the Premiership up here in England. Seen a fair bit of him. Would love to see him take that opportunity. I know Jasper Wiese has been the guy over the last year or so that we've seen at number 8. Box fans calling for Cameron Hanekom to get more of an opportunity, and he could be the guy that is number 8 in a couple of years' time for the World Cup. I think Jean-Luc Dupree has a real opportunity there, so I'm excited to see how he goes. And then Thomas du Toit playing on the tight head side. We've seen him on the loose head side. We see him more, again, to reference back to the Premiership, which I watch a lot of over here in England. We see him a lot of tight head prop for Bath. He has been incredible for them since he joined the club. Really looking forward to see how he goes at tight head for the Springboks this week. Springbok team that need to win. They need to win. And this is still such a quality side. I think maybe that was also part of the point that I was going to mention earlier when I lost my train of thought. Yes, they lost, but Springbok fans will be able to appreciate the game. But you look at this team, still so much strength in it, isn't it? And you worry about what happened and were they tired in the second half, what went wrong. Losing at Ellis Park isn't something that happens all that regularly. This is still a very, very strong Springbok team. It should be a Springbok team that are capable of beating Australia. Australia have proven this year that you cannot write them off, but I think we're going to see a real backlash from South Africa. I really think you're going to see a performance. I think you're going to see a result. But then I also thought they were going to win last week at Ellis Park. So who knows in terms of predictions? A bit of a fool's errand at this moment in time. Give me your view in the comment section. Let me know what you make of this team, what you make of the age profile, what you make of the approach of South Africa ahead of this game. Going back to basics a little bit, perhaps. Certainly back to, I think, what they know and the experience and the sort of game plan they want to execute. Give me your views in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.